Before we start today's episode, I just want to tell you that I have a new song coming out in a few weeks called Coffee Stains. I will link this in the description. I won't link the song, but I will link where I'm going to post it, which is SoundCloud, because record labels. And I hope you guys go listen to that. Thank you for listening to today's podcast. Hello, and welcome to today's podcast episode. Welcome to the Underdog Podcast. Now, today, I really wish I had guests sometimes. Let me see if I can get someone on here, because that would be lovely. I would really like it if I could talk to someone today. But today, I think we're going to just kick back and relax. I'm going to be making these episodes longer and hopefully doing this every week. And today is Saturday, so a podcast episode every Saturday. I have to sign into something here. Podcast episode every Saturday. I don't know if you guys have ever listened to the Distractible podcast from Mark, Bob, and Wade, Markiplier, Masker, and Lord Minion 777. It might be similar to that. Who knows? I don't know. I am a human. Okay, now I gotta go to email. Hope you guys' day is going well, because I hope your day is going well. I'm really excited to release Coffee Stains, because I have worked so hard on that song. Who knows, though? Hey, I forgot my username on Discord. Hey, I dropped my dimes. Hey, Step Bro. What are you doing, Step Bro? Anyways, so that's really all. Nothing new. Instead of talking with a crappy microphone, I want to be talking with a non-crappy microphone, which is this microphone. And I found a way to have it so that when I plugged it in, I wouldn't hear absolutely nothing, and I wouldn't just be talking into the microphone, but I would be hearing a sound and be talking into this very nice, high-quality microphone. I'm smart now. It's weird. Terms, I got it. Thanks. So, well... sorry. One of my friends on Discord, who I might get in the call, has one of those penguins from the really old game holding like an AK-47. So, Yep. Who wants to be my friend? Who is doing this? Coming soon, rat. Who is this? What in God's name? Okay, let me text Samuel. Sam, wanna get in a podcast episode. I'm sorry that I'm saying these things out loud. But something's gotta happen. Ow! And it's gotta happen fast if I want it to. Thanks for your purchase, Jack. You're welcome, man. So, that's amazing. Sam is saying things. He says he's not sure. I don't know what to think of my toes. So I hope you guys, I know I said it before, but you guys' day is going well. Sam, stop text. Who is, gosh. I don't know who this is. Who this be? Who this be? On God? On Jesus. By the way, it's only 9 a.m., guys, so I think I understand why Sam doesn't want to get in a call, but maybe I'll kick this podcast episode off, later, or, take a break and then start later. Anyways, basically, I had a bit of a run-in. Anyways, we're gonna look at a list of cryptids. I don't want to know about the film Cryptids, but there is a cryptids. Let me get a good definition here. What? Yep. Cryptids. I'm looking at a list of cryptids. It says this is a list of cryptids, which are animals that cryptozoologists believe may exist somewhere in the wild, but are not believed to exist by mainstream science. Cryptozoology is a pseudoscience which primarily looks at anecdotal stories and other claims rejected by the scientific community, while biologists regularly identify new species following established scientific methodology. Cryptozoologists focus on entities mentioned in the folklore, record, and rumor. Entities that may be considered cryptids by cryptozoologists include Bigfoot, Yeti, and the Chupacabra, the Jersey Devil, the Loch Ness Monster, and that thing. Dude, I'm getting texted on Discord so much. So much. So, scholars have noted that the cryptozoology subculture rejected mainstream approaches from an early date, and that adherents often express hostility to mainstream science. Scholars have studied cryptozoologists and their influence, including the Pseudoscience Association with Young Earth Creationism. Is that how you say it? Is that how you say it? No. I want to know how to say it. Let me know. Pseudoscience. Thanks, man. I kept on saying pseudoscience. I'm Grayson from the Liverpool. Aww. It's Grayson. So, he's also another good friend of mine. Anyways, I have to read that sentence again. Scholars have studied cryptozoologists and their influence, including the Pseudosciences Association with the Young Earth Creationism, noted parallels in cryptozoology and other pseudosciences such as ghost hunting and UFOlogy, and highlighted uncritical media propagation of cryptozoologist claims. Okay. He just sent me the best GIF ever. Give me 1 second, guys. So I said, "I'm a man, dap me up," and he said, "Yes, sir," and sent me the the funniest GIF. I might be able to put it into the video. See if I can download it. Maybe, I don't know if I can. I added a skull reaction because why not? I can't, but I don't know if Grayson would want to be in this episode, so I might just make like a separate one. I love to touch toes. Cancelled. I'm sorry if the keyboard is like really loud. I have to ask how he's been, of course, because he's my G. You know? That's just how you beam. Alright, so some dictionaries and encyclopedias define the term cryptid as an animal whose existence is unsubstantiated. Unsubstantiated. Anyways, a list of those things would be the Brosno dragon in Bosnia, or known as Bosnia. Description of lake monster in Lake Brosno in Russia. Description is literally nothing. Another one is a Cabrosaurus, or caddy, which is a sea animal on the Pacific coast of North America, which I don't know how that explains it at all, that photo. But I guess it does. I guess it gives it worth. It was from 1937, so I guess photography was not people's strong suit. But another one would be champ, or the champion. I cannot say whatever that is. It is also a lake monster in Lake Champlain, North America, but it looks to be drawn. So there's no way to prove that this is real. This one is drawn too, but really well drawn. Artist impression by eyewitness Sean Corcoran. This creature was encountered on Ome Island, Connemara, Colorado, maybe? No, sorry. Galway, Ireland. Shut up, don't kill me. It is called the water hound. It's an extra-large otter-like carnivorous aquatic mammal found in Ireland. The Kempenfelt Kelly is in Canada, Lake Simcoe in Ontario, but doesn't show any picture. Issy is a lake monster in Japan, shows no picture. There's also one called Cussie. It's a lake monster in Japan, which is literally a paper mache thing. Lake Asaro is the lake in Tishikaga, Hokkaido Prefecture in Japan. Okay, there it is. Nessie, the Loch Ness monster found in Scotland, which that is not Nessie, but that is a piece of stone. A sculpture of the Loch Ness monster as a plesiosaurus. That's pretty cool. I'll download that one as well so you guys can see it. I don't know what to think of all of this, though. So, cryptids are really weird, right? Cryptids are things that people see but don't have proof that they exist, right? And there's all sorts of stuff that I'm not going to go over. I mean, the Sasquatch is a large and hairy ape-like creature in the United States and Canada. There is the Chupacabra, Spanish for goat sucker. That's great. That they give no name for that. Oh my gosh. A worm-like animal in the Gobi Desert. I somehow, maybe that was a mirage. A skunk ape. Wow. That really shows you in-depth. It's a really in-depth picture there. Anyways, like I said, cryptids are things that people see but have no proof that are real. And a good way of explaining them would be... and now it's just offline. Okay. So a good example of one would be like, say you're the last one downstairs before going to bed at night. All right, let me get close to the mic for this. You're the last ones downstairs. It's bedtime. It's 11:58 p.m. Friday night. And as soon as you shut the light off, you see a creature or some shape standing in the corner. You can only make it out. You can only trace the shape with your eyes. You start bolting up the stairs because you feel like it is chasing you. You feel like it's going to kill you. And you immediately run to your room, say goodnight while running, and dive under the covers of your bed. That would be a good example of it, but that's really it. It's only like hearing something, like at one time, my parents weren't home at this time, and I was, let's see, I forgot when, it was probably 2017, and oh, we should definitely look at the paranormal side. Let's look at, anyways, so, sorry, some stuff is catching my eye on Wiki. Anyways, one time, I was sitting in my room, my door was open, right? And I was writing down some thoughts that I had in a diary entry, and I was home alone. And at this point, I was already scared because in my neighborhood, I didn't like being home alone. Now, it wasn't even just the neighborhood. I just didn't like being home alone, period. So, I was sitting on my bed. I was writing a diary entry. And I hear my front door open and close. And I jump out of my bed. And I start jogging into the kitchen or into the living room area to see who was home, and I saw nobody. No doors were open, no sign of anything. All of the shoes that weren't mine were off the shoe tray because everyone else was gone and I was stuck home alone. So I was kind of terrified. So I, of course, dumb me, I had to go down the stairs into my basement and check what was going on down there. At the time, the boiler, so basically where I used to live, which was up in New Hampshire, basically you go into my basement and you have your left and your right, and to your left is like this really cool hangout area in the basement with the TV, and we had our Nintendo Wii in there and all sorts of movies and a bar actually, and a table, some board games. And just as you walked into that room on your right or your northeast, there was a door, and you'd open that door and that was the boiler. and the boiler was running when I went down there, and all of the lights were off. And when the lights are off in that room is scary. That room is like next level. Your balls are shaking. You're about to lose your shit scary. I walked in there, and some reason I did not turn on the light in that room. And I searched throughout the room, and bam, my cat just goes flying. I had two cats in there. One my cat just goes flying across the room, like he jumped off the bar, and I couldn't see him because we have like a pillar there. And he jumped from behind that pillar onto the table, and I almost soiled my drawers. I swear to God. But nothing was down there after all. And then I turned the light on. I turned it off. And I swear to God, I saw a figure behind like one of the nightstands with a lamp on it in the corner of the room. Let me explain this room, alright? So, this room is, once you go into the room, it's a bit of a corner door. So once you go into the door, it's like an immediate left turn on the, like if you're looking at the wall, you go into the door, and the wall just starts moving already, so you can have the straight line into the room. And I was moving, like once you go down there, you have the door to your right, which is the boiler room. And you keep going down in that room, keep going straight, and to my right again is the bar. The red light that is on the bar, which is like a rum bottle with red LED lights in it, that was not plugged in. And that would have been a good light source, but also would have made the setting a bit scarier, even though it was already pretty scary. What just fell over? Okay. So I keep walking, and say you're like in the middle of the room. To your right would be a bookshelf. In front of you would be the piano I actually use now. I still have it. It would also be a table on your right, like a small circular table with some weird chairs. And then to your left would be a huge TV, a stereo, the Nintendo Wii with all its games and a ton of movies there, a big coffee table, and two big leather sofas. So I'm standing by the bar where the cat just jumped off. And I forgot to add this, but once the cat jumps onto the coffee table, he immediately bolts towards me, gets behind my legs, and starts meowing a lot. So I look up, and I see that figure in the corner, in between both couches. Now, I can't fully explain this room to you guys, because, it would be rough, but I'm sure you guys, like, when you're reading, you imagine the setting a lot, and you and me probably have different settings that we think about if we're reading the same book. But, anyways, it was the scariest thing. I bolted out of there, and I went back upstairs, and then I go back to my room. I swear to God, I hear the front door open and close again. And I hear, "Jack, are you in your room?" And I bolt out of my room, not just jog, I bolt out of my room, and I go straight to the kitchen, and no one was there. No one. Besides me and the cats and the dog were home. Now, right as I reach the kitchen, I look from where I'm standing. I go into the middle of the living room, and I look to my left. I'm looking right at the TV. I look to my left. and we have a big dining room table, and then past the dining room table is a sliding door which leads into the office, which has a door that goes outside. I look in there, and no one is in there. And then I hear the garage door open. So I bolt down there into the basement where I just was. No lights were on, and this is also one of those basements that has a pull cord light bulb. So I turn that thing on, and it might not just have been a cryptid, but the door that leads to the garage opened. Not all the way, it just opened up a crack. And I went over to it. The light was on. I pulled the cord and I walked over to it. I opened it. My hand was shaking the most it's ever shaked. I remember this so clearly. And no one was in the garage. The garage door was still closed. No one had been home for like 3 hours. And I closed the door and I pulled the cord of the light bulb. And I just bolted upstairs because, like everyone else, I'm so scared of pull cord light bulbs. And I walk into the room and I just bolt straight from my room and get under the covers after closing the door, of course. And I then hear the garage door open once more and I look out the window because my window has a straight view of the driveway. And I see my mom, dad, and brother pull into the driveway. And I feel so relieved. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was terrified. Yep. This episode is brought to you by Nighttime Music. Make sure you check out the SoundCloud page I linked to listen to Clear Skies and Cloudy Skies. And yeah, that's all. Listen to them. So, based off of that, now we're just going to look at paranormal stuff, right? So, basically, we're going to go from the top of the page. Paranormal. This article is about unexplained phenomena. For phenomena not subject to the laws of nature, see supernatural. For unexplained but presumed natural phenomena, see preternatural. For other uses, see paranormal disambiguation. Paranormal Activity redirects here for the film. See Paranormal Activity. Go watch that movie. I'm going to go pull that into a different tab. Paranormal events are purported phenomena described in popular culture, folk, or other non-scientific bodies of knowledge whose existence within these contexts is described as beyond the scope of normal scientific understanding. Notable paranormal beliefs include those that pertain to extrasensory perception, for example, telepathy, spiritualism, and the pseudosciences of ghost hunting, cryptozoology, and UFOlogy. Proposals regarding the paranormal are different from scientific hypotheses or speculations extrapolated from scientific evidence because scientific ideas are grounded in empirical observations and experimental data gained through the scientific method. In contrast, wow, voice crack too. In contrast, those who argue for the existence of the paranormal explicitly do not base their arguments on empirical evidence, but rather on anecdotes, testimony, and suspicion. The standard scientific models give the explanation that what appears to be paranormal phenomena is usually a misinterpretation, misunderstanding, or anomalous variation of natural phenomena. Okay. Ghost hunting. Definitely want to talk about that. Is ghost hunting its own thing? No, it's stupid. Paranormal Activity was a 2007 American supernatural horror film produced, written, and directed, photographed, and edited by Oren Peli. It centers a young couple, Katie Featherston and Micah Slout, who are haunted by a supernatural presence in their home, when then set up a camera to document what is haunting them. The film utilizes found footage conventions that were mirrored in later films of the series. Originally developed as an independent feature and given film festival screenings in 2007, the film was shot for $15,000. It was acquired by Paramount Pictures and modified, particularly with a new ending that cost an additional $200,000. It was given a limited U.S. release in September 25th, 2009, and then a nationwide release on October 16, 2009. The film earned nearly $108 million at the U.S. box office and further $85 million internationally, from a worldwide total of $193 million. Anyways, go see that movie, guys. Etymology. The term paranormal has existed in the English language since at least 1920. The word consists of two parts, para and normal. The definition implies that the scientific explanation of the world around us is normal, and anything that is above, beyond, or contrary to that is para. Paranormal subjects. On the classification of paranormal subjects, Terence Hines, in his book Pseudoscience and the Paranormal, 2003, wrote, "The paranormal can be thought of as a subset of pseudoscience. What sets the paranormal apart from other pseudosciences is a reliance on explanations for alleged phenomena that are well outside the bounds of established science. Thus, the paranormal phenomena include extrasensory precipitation, ESP, telekinesis, ghosts, poltergeists, life after death, reincarnation, faith healing, human auras, and so forth. The explanations of these allied phenomena are phrased in vague terms of psychic forces, human energy fields, and so on. This is in contrast to many pseudo-scientific explanations for other non-paranormal phenomena, which, although very bad science, are still couched in acceptable scientific terms." He sounds like Shakespeare, honest to God. I don't know what he was saying. Ooh, here we are. Ghost hunting. This should be fun. This is a long one, too. Ghost hunting is the investigation of locations that are reported or reportedly haunted by ghosts. Typically, a ghost hunting team will attempt to collect evidence supporting the existence of paranormal activity. In traditional ghost lore, the fiction featuring ghosts, a ghost is a manifestation of a spirit or soul of a person. Alternative theories expand on that idea and include belief in the ghosts of deceased animals. Sometimes the term ghost is used synonymously with any spirit or demon. However, in popular usage, the term typically refers to the spirit of a deceased person. The belief of ghosts as souls of the departed. The belief in ghosts as souls of the departed is closely tied to the concept of animism. Animism? What is that? Animism from anima. It's a belief that objects, places, and creatures all possess a distinct spiritual essence. Potentially, animism, sorry, I said it wrong before. Animism perceives all things, animals, plants, rocks, rivers, weather systems, human handiwork, and perhaps even words, as animated and alive. Animism is used in the anthropology of religion as, what did it show? As a religion, or as a term for a belief system of many indigenous peoples, especially in contrast to the relatively more recent development of organized religions. Okay. Cool. Weird. Alright, I'll reread the paragraph. The belief in ghosts as souls of the departed is closely tied to the concept of animism, an ancient belief that attributed souls to everything in nature. As the 19th century anthropologist George Frazer explained in his classic work, The Golden Bough, in 1890. God dang. Souls were seen as the creature within which animated the body. Although the human soul was sometimes symbolically or literally depicted in ancient cultures as a bird or another animal, it was widely held that the soul was an exact reproduction of the body in every feature, even down to the clothing worn by the person. This is depicted in artwork from various ancient cultures, including such works as Ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead, ca. 1550 BCE, which shows deceased people in the afterlife appearing much as they did before death, including styles of dress. UFOlogy. The possibility of extraterrestrial life is not in itself a paranormal subject. Many scientists are actively engaged in the search for unicellular life within the solar system, carrying out studies of the surface of Mars and examining meteors that have fallen to Earth. Projects such as SETI or SETI. SETI. What is SETI? The search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Search for extraterrestrial intelligence. SETI. Okay. Projects such as SETI are conducting an astronomical search for radioactivity that would show evidence of intelligent life outside the solar system. Scientific theories of how life developed on Earth allow for the possibility that life also developed on other planets. The paranormal aspect of extraterrestrial life centers largely on the belief of unidentified flying objects, or as we know them as UFOs, and the phenomena said to be associated with them. Early in the history of UFO cultures, Early in the history of UFO culture, believers divided themselves into two camps. The first held a rather conservative view of the phenomena, interpreting them as unexplained occurrences that merited serious study. They began calling themselves UFOologists in the 1950s and felt that logical analysis of sighting reports would validate the notion of extraterrestrial visitation. The second camp held a view of the coupled ideas of extraterrestrial visitation with beliefs from existing quasi-religious movements. Typically, these individuals were enthusiasts of occultism. I don't want to read that. Nope. And the paranormal. Many had backgrounds as active as theosophists or spiritualists, or were followers of other esoteric doctrines. In contemporary times, many of these beliefs have coalesced into New Age spiritual movements. I need to think of words. Ugh. Both Cecilier and spiritual believers describe UFOs as having abilities beyond what are considered possible according to known aerodynamic constraints and physical laws. The transitory events surrounding many UFO sightings preclude any opportunity for the repeat testing required by the scientific method. Acceptance of UFO theories by the larger scientific community is further hindered by the many possible hoaxes associated with UFO culture. Okay, so we already talked about cryptozoology, and the way they talk about it is what we talked about earlier. Now we're going to go into paranormal research. This is a long episode. Basically, and I need to give examples here. So basically, I have nothing with UFOlogy. That was the longest one and possibly the stupidest one. But yeah. What in God's name? Parapsychology? Experimental investigation of the paranormal has been conducted on parapsychologist J.B. Ryan, popularized the now famous methodology of using card guessing and dice rolling experiments in a laboratory in the hopes of finding evidence of extrasensory perception. However, it was revealed that Ryan's experiments contained methodical flaws and procedural errors. But the picture I see here, precipitant of Gansfield experiment, which proponents say may show evidence of telepathy. Then why are their eyes doing that? What is going on? Oh my God, I hate that. God, I hate that. Okay. There is a lot of weird stuff in here. So, we're going to continue to talk about it. Before we go on, I just want to say this. Quick ad break! Woo! Hello, this is another thing. I don't know what this episode is talking about, but welcome. Hi. Make sure, listen to music. Bye! Paranormal research. Approaching the paranormal from a research perspective is often difficult because of the lack of acceptable physical evidence for most of the purported phenomena. 1 second, I think someone just left my home. Hey, why aren't you editing this out? So rude of you to not edit this out. Shall we continue? By definition, the paranormal does not conform to conventional expectations of nature. Therefore, a phenomenon cannot be confirmed as paranormal using the scientific method because, if it could be, it would no longer fit the definition. However, confirmation would result in the phenomenon being reclassified as part of science. Despite this problem, studies on the paranormal are periodically conducted by researchers from various disciplines. Some researchers simply study the beliefs in the paranormal regardless of whether the phenomena are considered to objectively exist. This section deals with the various approaches of the paranormal: anecdotal, experimental, and precipitant observer approaches, and the skeptical investigation approach. An anecdotal approach to the paranormal involves the collection of stories told about the paranormal. Same thing about cryptids. Charles Fort, born 1874, died 1932, is perhaps the best-known collector of paranormal anecdotes. Fort is said to have compiled as many as 40,000 notes on unexplained paranormal experiences, though there are no doubt anymore. Many more. I can't read. These notes came from what he called the orthodox conventionality of science, which were odd events originally reported in magazines and newspapers such as the Times and scientific journals such as the Scientific American, Nature, and Science. From this research, Fort wrote 7 books, though only 4 survived. The Book of the Damned in 1919, New Lands 1923, Low in 1931, the year before he died, and Wild Talents, the year he died. One book was written between New Lands and Low, but it was abandoned and absorbed into Low. Okay, thanks, big dog. Reported events that he collected include teleportation, a term Fort is generally credited with coining, poltergeist events, falls of frogs, fishes, and inorganic materials of an amazing range, crop circles, unaccountable noises and explosions, spontaneous fires, levitation, ball lightning, a term explicitly used by Fort, unidentified flying objects, mysterious appearances and disappearances, giant wheels of light in the oceans, and animals found outside their normal ranges. See phantom cat. What? Phantom cat. If you show me a spooky image, where it's not showing me anything about mass wildlife confirmed 2 cases. No. Black panthers on the other large non-indigenous cats have been sighted. This is stupid. I want to know what the phantom cat looks like. They're just ABC's alien big cats. Okay. He offered many reports of OOPARTS, the abbreviation for out-of-place artifacts. Oh. Okay. out of place artifacts. Strange items found in unlikely locations. He is perhaps the first person to explain strange human appearances and disappearances by the hypothesis of alien abduction, and was an early proponent of the extraterrestrial hypothesis. This picture of this man, I'll tell you, he doesn't look like a conspiracy theorist. For he's considered by many as the father of modern paranormalism, which is the study of the paranormal. Wow! The magazine 14 Times contains Charles Fort's approach, regularly reporting anecdotal accounts of the paranormal. Such anecdotal collections lacking the reproducibility, of empirical evidence, and not amendable to scientific investigation. The anecdotal approach is not the scientific approach to the paranormal because it leaves verification dependent on the credibility of the party presenting the evidence. Nevertheless, it is a common approach to investigating paranormal phenomena. Basically, off of what we have read so far, the paranormal is all about evidence. If you're going to say something about the paranormal and you're going to say that you think you saw a ghost, have proof. Basically, just be the people who made Paranormal Activity. Just be them. Just be them. We're going to go down to psychology, which is one of the biggest things to talk about. Psychology. And yeah, I don't know if we should talk about this, so we'll probably start. I don't know, this seems like a good amount to read, but it looks like it's good. In anomalistic psychology, paranormal phenomenon have naturalistic explanations resulting from the psychological and physical factors, which have sometimes given the impression of paranormal activity to some people, in fact, where there have been none. The psychologist David Marks wrote that paranormal phenomena can be explained by magical thinking, mental imagery, subjective validation, coincidence, hidden causes, and fraud. According to studies, some people tend to hold paranormal beliefs because they possess psychological traits that make them more likely to misattribute paranormal causation to normal experiences. I never knew that was a word. Causation. Why even use that word? Research has also discovered that cognitive bias is a factor underlying paranormal belief. That's pretty rough. Cognitive bias. A cognitive bias is a systematic pattern of deviation from norm or rationally in judgment. Individuals create their own subjective reality from the perception of the input. An individual's construction of reality, not the objective input, may indicate that their behavior in the world. Thus, cognitive bias. Nope, I want to read it. That just leads me to the whole thing. Thus, cognitive biases may sometimes lead to perceptual distortion, inaccurate judgment, illogical interpretation, or what is broadly called irrationality. Get dogged on. Many studies have found a link between personality and psychopathology variables correlating with paranormal belief. Some studies have also shown that fantasy... Pardon? No, I want to highlight one thing. What word is that? Nope. Tell me, Google. Proneness. Guys, I'm so good at proneness. Ghost Recon. I'm so good at being the pronessist. Fantasy proneness correlates positively with paranormal belief. Bainbridge in 1970 and Wuthnow in 1976 found that the most susceptible people to paranormal belief are those who are poorly educated, unemployed, or have roles that rank low among social values. Oh my God. The alienation of those people due to their status in society is said to encourage them to appeal to paranormal or magical beliefs. Jesus. Damn. Shots fired. I'll read it again. These two people found that the most susceptible people to paranormal belief are those who are poorly educated, unemployed, or have roles that rank low among social values. Shots fired. Bam, bam. Research has associated paranormal belief with low cognitive ability, low IQ, and a lack of science education. Intelligent and highly educated participants involved in surveys have proven to have less paranormal belief. Tobesic in 1984 and Messer and Griggs in 1989 discovered that college students with better grades have less belief in the paranormal. So rude. In a case study, Gal in 2004, involving 167 participants, the findings revealed that psychological absorption and dissociation were higher for believers in the paranormal. Sorry about the wording stuff. I'm not the greatest. Another study involving 100 students have revealed a positive correlation between the paranormal belief and a proneness to disassociation. A study, Williams, in about 2007, discovered that neuroticism is fundamental to individual differences in paranormal belief, which paranormal belief is an independent and extroversion of psychoticism. Psychoticism? Okay. A correlation has been found between paranormal belief and irrational thinking. In an experiment, Weiser-Bicky, apparently, in 1985, no rudeness to your name, I apologize for butchering it, reported a scientific correlation between paranormal belief and the number of errors made on a syllogistic reasoning task, suggesting that believers in the paranormal have lower cognitive ability. A relationship between narcissistic personality and paranormal belief was discovered in a study involving the Australian sheep-goat scale. DeBoer and Bierman wrote in his article Creative or Defective, Rodin in 2005, asserts that many academics explain the belief in the paranormal by using one of the three following hypotheses: ignorance, deprivation, or deficiency. The ignorance hypothesis asserts that people believe in the paranormal because they are uneducated or stupid, and I quote, stupid. It literally says, in quotes, the ignorance hypothesis asserts that people believe in the paranormal because they're uneducated or stupid. The deprivation hypothesis proposes that the beliefs exist to provide a way to cope in the face of psychological uncertainties and physical stressors. Uneducated or stupid. The deficiency hypothesis asserts that such beliefs arise because people are mentally defective in mentally defective in some way, ranging from low intelligence or poor critical thinking ability to a full-blown psychosis. Radin. The deficiency hypothesis gets some support from the fact that belief in the paranormal is an aspect of I'm going to also research this word. Hey, Google, speak to me. Sure. Overview. People with schizotypal personality disorder are often described as odd or eccentric and usually have few, if any, close relationships. Dying. Wow. Dang. Alright, well, that just proves that. Excuse me. Well, yeah. Apparently people are dumb. Bainbridge and Wuth now found that the most susceptible people to paranormal belief are those who are poorly educated, unemployed, or have roles that link low among social values. The alienation of these people due to their status in society is said to encourage them to appeal to paranormal or magical beliefs. That's why D&D is a thing. Wow. Alright, belief polls. While the existence of paranormal phenomena is controversial and debated passionately by both proponents of the paranormal and by skeptics, surveys are useful in determining the beliefs of people in regards to paranormal phenomena. These opinions, while not constituting scientific evidence for or against, may give an indication of the mindset of a certain portion of the population, parentheses, at least among those who answered the polls, parentheses. The number of people worldwide who believe in parapsychological powers have been estimated to be 3 to 4 billion. A survey conducted in 2006 by researchers from Australia's Monash University sought to determine the types of phenomena that people claim to have experienced and the effects those experiences have had on their lives. The study has conducted an online survey with over 2,000 respondents from around the world participating. These results revealed that around 70% of the respondents believed to have had an unexplained paranormal event that changed their life, mostly in a positive way. About 70% also claimed to have seen, heard, or been touched by an animal or person that they knew was not there. 80%, oh my god, I might be in this. 80% have reported having a premonition. Almost 50% stated that they recalled a previous life. God. Polls were conducted by Brian Farah at Oklahoma City University and Grace Stewart of the University of Central Oklahoma in 2006. They found fairly consistent results compared to the results of the Gallup poll in 2001. Alright, so in psychic and spiritual healing, we have belief 56, unsure 26. This is in 2006. Farah and Stewart. Belief 56, unsure 26, and disbelief 18. By Gallup in 2001, belief 54, unsure 19, disbelief 26. In Gallup in 2005, belief 55, unsure 17, and disbelief 26 again. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Those are the polls. That's great. That's awesome. Thank you, authors Arthur C. Clarke and Hilary Evans. Sir Arthur Charles Clarke was an English scientist. Great. These people are kind of old. Thank you, Bruce Barrymore Hellpenny. Thank you, Bernard Hellmans. Sorry, I know I butchered that. Belgian-French scientist, explorer, researcher, and writer, probably best known along with the Scottish-American biologist Ivan T. Sanderson as a founding figure in the pseudoscience and subculture of cryptozoology. Cool. Thank you, John Keel. Thank you, Robert Ripley, Carl Sagan, Ivan Sanderson, Rupert Sheldrake, and Brad Steiger. Alright, well, I'm going to close this podcast episode off here. Let me just text Sam real quick. I really should get this thing back on its stand, this microphone, because I've been holding this thing for an hour. So I really should get it back on its stand, because it's kind of annoying having to hold it. So give me one moment while I try and fix this. I'm going to pause the podcast. It's not working that well. Give me more. Anyways, people, that is going to have to in today's podcast episode, I'm going to switch this over to bidirectional because I have it as omnidirectional and I want it as bidirectional. Sorry, I hate this chair sometimes. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast episode. This podcast episode is about cryptids. This podcast episode was about paranormal activity. This podcast episode was about ghost hunting. This podcast episode was about UFOlogy and other stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed. This has been an hour-long podcast. I sure hope it picked up audio then, because it's saying that it didn't, and I would get really ticked off, because that is a long time, and that was when my story was happening, too. Anyways, thank you so much for listening. I'll see you guys later, or you guys will hear me later. Bye! And I will be fixing this microphone, just give me a second. Woo! Hopefully this is better. Podcast out.